No kitty for you.
No kitty for me, exactly.
I get fast a piggy. This is gonna be so overkill. But it's so worth it.
Explode that pig.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
still alive.
What?
We have one cat. I feel bad that we
Smash.
just bagged a fucking cat.
Now it's dead.
What's going on, fellow Fivers? It's your boy Mr. Pip Darty, back at it again with another support hunting guide video. This time we're revisiting Hunting Horn with the Kulve Taroth update, but before we get into all the builds and numbers, I did just want to remind you guys we do hunt 3 nights a week on Twitch with a little variety in between. I will have the links down below in the description, and if you want to support the channel and are already buying video games, you can use our affiliate link through Humble Bundle down below, and also raise money for charity. As we went over in our first KT support guide for light bowgun, which I highly recommend checking out, we'll actually be swapping out the Tigrex armor set for the Kulve Taroth's Fury Alpha and Beta pieces to get our free meal secret. And of course we'll be finishing off our build with Wide Range 5, Speed Eating 3, and then slotting in as many damage skills as possible to see how it stacks up against meta full damage sets. Now in our last Hunting Horn guide we looked at the Sonorous Ice Film as well as the Bazavati Rookseer as our support Hunting Horns of choice. However, we've had the lovely update of Safi'jiiva, which is one of my favorite fights, by the way. We actually did a 4-player speedrun and are currently working on reducing our time to get a sub 10-minute run. I'll link our previous speedrun video up above though, should you guys want to check that out. But Safi'jiiva gave us the lovely addition of his weapons. Now the weapons, basically we get to awaken them into pretty much whatever the hell we want. And on Hunting Horn that means we get to pick our own song set. And in the support application, that usually means we're going to go ahead and go for the attack song set 3, which gives us the Joe horn set. So defense up large into extra large, attack up large into extra large. You get the drift by now from our first video. And we actually get to add an armor set bonus should we choose to. Now in the case of support, this usually means we grab a Tigrex essence so that we only need 2 pieces of Tigrex armor, and then we can use something like Safi'jiiva or even get Master's Touch back, which would be pretty sweet. In this particular video, I'm mainly going to focus on Kulve Taroth armor builds, as that's what most of you guys have been asking for in the comments and in my DMs, both on Instagram and YouTube, which by the way, thank you guys so much for your feedback. Keep it coming. Now the last trick up the Safi'jiiva weapon sleeves, if you will, is that the Safi'jiiva weapon also allows us to slot in a sharpness awakening, which basically means that we get to customize our sharpness to whatever we feel is comfy, allowing us to omit the need for Master's Touch. And since we're running 4 pieces of Kulve Taroth armor to get our free meal secret, that is definitely a welcome addition. And of course the rest of the awakens are just going to be raw maximum damage. Now since all of these Safi'jiiva weapons come in pretty much every element, sleep, para, and blast as well, we could technically pick whatever we want depending on the monster matchup. However, the elemental base amount on each of the Safi weapons is a bit on the low side, and while we could awaken to get that up, all of our Hunting Horn songs as well as our damage buffing items all scale with our effective raw. So that's a bit suboptimal, and we're not about being suboptimal here. So that just leaves us with Shatterhorn and Venom Horn for Blast and Poison. Pretty much just pick whichever one between the two the monster's 3-star weak to, otherwise go with Blast, because explosions. If your team needs a little bit more help, or you're just going for a laid-back hunt, well, then go with Sleep or Para. Alright, now that we've gone over which Safi'jiiva horns we're mostly going to be using here, and how we're going to awaken them, let's go ahead and plug this into a Kulve Taroth armor set, and see how our support set's turning out. Now I gotta tell you, I'm rather surprised at the way that this build turned out. On our Shatterhorn, we took an attack 6, 5, and 5 for the awakenings, our attack melody 3, and a sharpness level 5 to hit 100 hits of white sharpness. Minimize the chance of us needing to use our wetfish fins in the middle of combat. With our protective polish, we should be able to get a monster from phase to phase, no problem with this build. And we have a very familiar loadout like we did in the light bowgun video, where we're using the Kulve Taroth's helmet beta, alpha chest and arms, as well as the alpha waist even, getting plenty of points of peak performance, as well as 75% of our support skills to top it off. Our old pal Bracky lets us borrow his legs in order to get 2 points of weakness exploit, and with the exception of the friendship expert combo decos, this is a fairly budget build. We have protective polish in here, and we're finishing off our critical boost and weakness exploit outside of that, and 2 attack gems, which everybody should have at this point. Now it is important to note I did include a handicraft decoration in the chest piece here. This is technically optional, optional should you feel that the 100 hits of white sharpness is not entirely necessary, or if you don't mind using wet fish fins all too much in the middle of combat. You can omit this decoration for something like a Phoenix Jewel for a point of coalescence where applicable, or finishing off peak performance in this build for even more damage. Or do what I do and get a point of flinch free instead. So fully self-buffed, we are sitting at a chunky 1020 effective raw. Now let's see how this stacks up against the Brachyhemoth meta set. Alright, so we've got our 1020 effective raw on the support set and 1077 on the meta set. So we're about 95% of the way there, and considering the fact that, again, we have our pill popper buff giving us an extra 45 effective raw to our entire team, I don't really think we need to do the math here, but I'll put it up on the screen anyways. This set's fucking dope. Now, the meta set does use Attack Melody 4, which gives you all melody effects extended, knockbacks negated, and Echo Wave Dragon. We can easily put that on our support set should you choose to. You would just lose out on the defense and health up for your team. So dealer's choice there. I like to use it occasionally because giving my entire team knockbacks negated means that they can just go ham on a monster's face when we get a KO. It's also extremely convenient only having to play one song with the melody effects extended to keep both attack up large and knockbacks negated or any other hunting horn buffs that we're using at the time active, giving us more time to queue up and spam echo waves for more damage. Now, if rocking a gross eyeball as your weapon of choice is not exactly your cup of tea, and you don't feel like using your materials to transmog it into something else with our new layered weapon system, thank you by the way Capcom, Kulve Taroth gave us two other gifts aside from a bitching armor set, in the form of Taroth Pipe Sleep and Kiar Pipe Crusher. And I gotta tell you, these hunting horns don't need no transmog, they gorgeous!
I love gold! The look of it, the taste of it, the smell of it, the texture.
Now, the only unfortunate thing with QR Pipe Crusher is the fact that while this horn absolutely smacks and it gives us our support song set, it is absolutely atrocious with the sharpness at 20 hits of white and 70 hits of blue, and that sharpness bar does not get any bigger no matter how much handicraft you pump into this thing. So you're gonna go through a lot of wet fish fins. I personally don't recommend this build at all. But if you have a stockpile of wet fish fins you're looking to burn, and you don't mind potentially Sudokuing yourself in the middle of a fight while wearing Rocksteady Mantle trying to desperately sharpen, go for it. It is quite literally dead even with the QR Pipe Crusher meta set at 1066 EFR with 30 less blast and without Master's Touch. Of course, if you look at the build, that did have to include Coalescence, so if you can't keep that active, you do lose the Coalescence buff, which puts QR Pipe Crusher in support at a loss, but this is the best I could come up with if you really absolutely had to run it. Matter of fact, I want to challenge you fellow battle bards. If you can post a video and message me either here on YouTube or Discord or even Twitter about it, and show me this build be used to some level of effectiveness, I'm gonna come up with some kind of prize to give you guys. I don't know, maybe I'll buy you balloons in the Steam store. We'll come up with something, but I think that would be a fun little challenge. Alright guys, we do have one last hunting horn to go over and one more build to show you for the end of the video, and that is the Taroth Pipe Sleep. And yes, this hunting horn was an absolute house in base game as well. I had a lot of fun with it, so I'm glad to see it back. Now, this horn gives us the Bazavati Rookseer song set, so attack up large, health recovery small, and recovery speed large. So not exactly the defensive buffs we normally would look for, but the health recovery is pretty nice, especially in chip damage fights like Valhazak, Teostra, Lunastra, etc. And it comes as quite the pleasant surprise to me that we actually get to bring back good old Elementless Jewel. Even with the nerfs, it's actually still pretty good in certain very corner case scenarios, like this one pushing us up to 1072 EFR. We do use slightly unconventional augments in the form of straight affinity with 3 attack customization. So a little unorthodox, but I'm still a big fan of it myself. Because you know what, we're wide range hunters. We don't need to play by no rules. We don't need no conventional attack augments. And we can't let the Brachyhemoth sets have all the fun, so thanks to this being a Taroth weapon, we actually count that hunting horn as part of our Kulve Taroth armor set. So we get 4-piece Kulve and 2-piece Brachy, giving us Agitator's Secret as well. Nice. Now, stacked up against the meta set, the meta set only sits at 1081, EFR, so we're losing a single percentage of EFR in order to get our wide range and free meal buffs. And to be honest with you, oh yeah, this is nice. I mean, sure, we don't have Master's Touch, but neither does the meta set. When you look at it, it's a Safi set. Now, when we take into consideration our 45 extra raw from the pill popper buff, as long as we can keep that might pill active, we are sitting at an extra 7%, 1,155 EFR. Damn. I think it's a no-brainer on which hunting horn I'm usually gonna be rocking here. Now, at the end of this video, I had intended on giving you guys some elemental hunting horn builds, but to be honest with you, the numbers just weren't really even holding a candle to these raw damage sets unless you had an entire team of balls to the wall, elemental, dual blades, bow gunners, bows, etc. So I couldn't really justify giving you such a niche case use, but instead I will put up on the screen our Taroth pipe sleep, this time though, with that sleep element actually awakened, giving us 1014 EFR, so not terrible, but we also get access to that 540 sleep element, which is extremely nice for those times when you just want a brief moment to relax, take a deep breath, and drop some barrel bombs on that dumbass bullshit furious or tempered even Rajang that just decides, you know what, you don't get to play your music. Well, you know what, Rajang? You. I do. Okay, I'm fine, guys, really. Okay, does anyone want to go on a Rajang, like, killing spree this weekend? You just find me in Discord, we'll set it up. Anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video today. I've put a lot of work into this. I know I'm very late on uploading it, but I do apologize. I've had some IRL stuff going on right now that's been kind of royally screwing my schedule up. But I'm going to get back on track on these videos, guys. Let me know in the comments what weapon you want to see turn support next. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, tips, advice, hopes, dreams, aspirations, let me know down in the comments. Come find me on Discord. Again, we hunt 3 nights a week on twitch.tv/MrPipDarty, as well as random shenanigans every other day of the week, except for Saturdays. So, I hope to see you sometime on stream. Thank you all for watching.